Hey up me duck YouTube, welcome back to another video. It's Ramstan YT, I know, new haircut. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoy like the haircut or not. Tell me what you think about it. I've personally gone for a bit of a more Louis Sibley look, but please let me know your opinions. But today's video is all about the best player of all time from your championship, the current championship squad, like teams. Rules is that the best time has to be during their spell at the club, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, let's get into it. So Barnsley, I've gone with Barry Murphy. He was a player from 1962 to 1978. Barry Murphy joined Barnsley from South Shields in 1962. He was nicknamed Spud, actually, and was the first Barnsley player to be used as a substitute in October 1965, when he replaced Brian Jackson in a 5-1 defeat at Doncaster Rovers. After earning his first team status, Murphy went on to make a consecutive run of 165 league and 17 cup games. He was voted Barnsley's Player of the Year in 1972, and after the emergence of two other young fullbacks, he took on a central defensive role in the 1974-75 season under Jim Eiley, when he was also made captain. In November 1975, he was appointed player coach, aged 35 years, and was restored to his former right-back role, and was ever-present during the 1976-77 season. He made his final appearance aged 38 years in April 1978 against Torquay United. Barry continued on the Reds coaching staff under Alan Clark and joined Leeds United in October 1980. For Birmingham City, I've gone with Gil Merrick. He was a player from 1939 to 1960. Merrick was born in Spark Hill in Birmingham, and he signed professional terms with Birmingham in August 1939 and remained with the team until his retirement as a player in 1960. At first, Merrick was third choice goalkeeper by boyhood hero Harry Hicks and Jack Wheeler. This meant that Merrick had to wait until the 20th of May 1940 to make his debut in the Birmingham first team, then playing in the Midland Regional League because of the Second World War. With the retirement of Hibs, Merrick gained the chance to play more competitive football, and by the end of the war, he'd amassed 170 appearances for the Blues, including an FA Cup semi-final against Derby County, which, of course, Derby won 4-0 after a replay. When the football resumed in 1946, Merrick found himself playing regularly for the more recently renamed Birmingham City. In 1948, Merrick helped the club win the second division, missing only 6 games along the way. He played regularly for the Blues until the end of the 1954-55 season, when another Blues prodigy, Johnny Schofield, replaced him in goal because of injury. During this time, Merrick achieved 126 league games in a row, from the 15th of April 1949 to the 5th of April 1952. He also played in every FA Cup game during this time, another 9 games, including an FA Cup semi-final appearance against Blackpool, which the Blues lost 2-1. And then I've really got more my voice at the moment. By the 1955-56 season, Merrick had once again firmly established himself in the Birmingham City goal, as the Blues produced their best ever season, finishing 6th in the First Division and reaching the 1956 FA Cup final, which they lost to Manchester City. Merrick was also the keeper when Birmingham reached the FA Cup semi-final the following year, only to be knocked out by Manchester United. Merrick also played in the 1955-58 Intercities Fairs Cup, in which Birmingham were knocked out at the semi-final stage by Barcelona, losing 2-1 in a replay at the St Jacobs Stadium in Basel. He also played some part in the 1958-60 tournament, but had lost his place in the Birmingham team to Schofield when Birmingham lost to Barcelona in the final. After only playing 1 game in the 1959-60 season, Merrick retired to become manager of the team he had served loyally for more than 20 years. Merrick was capped 23 times by England, and he made his debut against Ireland on the 14th of November 1951 at Wembley in the 1952 British Home Championship. He was first choice goalkeeper for England in the 1954 World Cup, his last international appearance coming against Uruguay on the 26th of June 1954, as England were eliminated at the quarter-final stage. All of Merrick's caps were gained when Birmingham City was a second division club. He is perhaps best known for being the last line of defence against the Hungary side of Ferenc Puskás and Nandor Hidegkuti, the magnificent Magyars, who beat England 6-3 at Wembley in 1953 and 7-1 at the Nap Stadion in 1954. For Blackburn Rovers, I've gone with Derek Fazakeli, who was a player from 1969 to 1987. Fazakeli made a record 671 appearances for Blackburn in an 18-year career. In February 2019, he was one of the first 7 players to be inducted into the club's Hall of Fame. For Bournemouth, I've gone with Steve Fletcher, who was a player from 1992 to 2007, and then he rejoined in 2009 to 2013. Fletcher joined Bournemouth in 1992 for £30,000. He spent 15 years with Bournemouth, recording more than 600 appearance caps and 100 goals. He holds the Bournemouth club record for the most league appearances, having played 514 league matches for the club. Fletcher returned to Bournemouth on a contract until the end of the 2008-09 campaign, with an option to extend it for another season. He made his 500th league appearance for the club on the 24th of February in a 1-0 win at Dagenham and Redbridge. In April 2010, Bournemouth renamed the North Stand at Dean Court after him in recognition of his achievements with the club. 2 months later, Fletcher signed a 1-year contract extension after helping the club win promotion to League One. Fletcher was appointed assistant manager to Lee Bradbury in January 2011 after Eddie Howe left the club to manage Burnley, signing a 2.5-year contract. He scored his 100th league goal for Bournemouth in a 3-3 draw at Peterborough United on the 1st of April 2011, and said that helping the club win promotion to a championship would be a perfect milestone for him. Bournemouth qualified for the playoffs, but were eliminated by Huddersfield Town on penalties. Fletcher resigned from his position as assistant manager in November, saying that it would be more beneficial for the team and the club if he focused on playing for the remainder of his contract. Having been restricted to brief substitute appearances since resigning as Bradbury's assistant, the manager said that he would consider allowing Fletcher to join another club on loan in January 2012, but insisted he was still part of his plans when he eventually joined Plymouth on loan. Following Argyle's 2-2 draw at Morecambe, Fletcher was recalled by Bournemouth caretaker manager Paul Groves ahead of a final league match campaign. At the end of the 2012-13 season, Fletcher announced his retirement from playing. With Bournemouth in the Championship, he felt his time was right to hang up his boots and seek another role within the club. In June 2013, it was announced that Fletcher would stay at Bournemouth as a scout. In March 2014, Fletcher was a recipient of the Sir Tom Finney Award by the Football League. He later moved into the role of assistant coach and also works for the club as an ambassador. For Brentford, I've gone with Ken Coote, who was a player from 1949 to 1964. Ron Greenwood, then playing for second division club at Brentford, knew of Coote and recommended to manager Jackie Gibbons for Brentford sign him. Coote joined the Bees as an amateur on the 26th of March 1949 and signed a professional contract on the 9th of May 1949. He made his debut for the club in a 4-1 defeat to Tottenham Hotspur at Griffin Park on the opening day of the 1949-50 season. He began his Brentford career as an inside left and scored his first goal for the club after 20 seconds of an eventual 4-1 defeat to Blackburn Rovers in September 1949. Coote's Brentford career failed to ignite until player-manager Tommy Lawton selected him as a left half for a match versus Notts County in March 1953. Coote gave a strong performance in a 5-0 victory, which eased the club's fears of relegation to the 3rd Division South. Coote became a near ever-present for Brentford and remained with the club after suffering relegation to the 3rd Division South in the 1953-54 season. Coote's durability over the next 9 years saw him claim a club record for consecutive FA Cup appearances of 30, and aside from playing on both flanks at fullback, he also played in 6 other outfield positions. After missing the first 9 games of the 1954-55 season, Coote missed only 16 of the club's next 378 league games. Ever increasingly used as a utility man, Coote filled 8 different positions during his time at Griffin Park. Attention from First Division clubs Arsenal and West Bromwich Albion came his way, but deals never materialised. At the end of the 1960-61 season, Coote was jointly awarded a testimonial match with Johnny Rainford versus an all-star 11 for his service to the club. Despite his durability, it was only during the 1962-63 season that Coote was an ever-present, and he capped his campaign by captaining the Bees to the 4th Division title. Coote made his final appearance in December 1963 and retired in April 1964, having made 559 appearances for Brentford. Coote's career virtually ran in parallel with goalkeeper Jerry Cakebread, and both players were named on the team together 357 times. He remains the club's record appearance maker, and rarely for a defender, was never booked in his career. Coote was offered opportunities to continue his career in non-league football, but chose to remain in retirement. He was awarded a second testimonial match versus West Ham United, managed by Von Greenwood, in September 1965, from which he earned more than £1,000. This is equivalent to £19,500 nowadays. In 2013, Coote placed second in a Football League 125th anniversary poll of Brentford's best ever captains, and in 2015 he was inducted into the club's Hall of Fame. For Bristol City, I've gone with Louis Carey, who played from 1995 to 2004 and then from 2005 to 2014. Carey is a Bristol City supporter and came up through the ranks at Bristol City. He made his City team debut in October 1995 and was a regular in the first team, both as a right back and as a centre back for 9 seasons, and was part of a side which won promotion to the Championship in 1997-98. He signed a 4-year deal in July 2000, and he was part of the side that won the 2003 Football League Trophy final. On the 4th of August 2012, Carey was given a testimonial against local rivals Bristol Rovers, which City won 3-0. Carey made his 500th appearance in all competitions for Bristol City on the 15th of March 2008. In July 2013, Carey was 3 games shy of equaling John Attio's appearance record for the club, which he equalled in December 2013. On the 29th of December 2013, Carey made his 646th appearance for Bristol City to become the club's new record holder. He left the club at the end of the 2013-14 season. For Cardiff City, I've gone with Billy Hardy, who was a player from 1911 to 1932. In 1911, Stewart left his role with Stockport and took up his managerial position at Southern Football League 2nd Division side Cardiff City. His first signing in his new role was to bring Hardy to the club from Hearts, who had retained his registration. The two sides agreed to a fee of £25. Due to Cardiff's financial position at the time, the fee was paid by Stewart himself, although he was later reimbursed when finances improved. Hardy made his debut for Cardiff on the opening day of the 1911-12 season in a 3-1 victory over Kettering. In his first season, Hardy made 32 appearances in all competitions as Cardiff finished 3rd in the 2nd Division. He also helped the club to victory in the 1912 World Cup final by defeating Pontypridd 3-0 in a replay to become the first team from South of Wales to win the competition. Cardiff achieved a higher finish in the 1912-13 season, winning the 2nd Division of the Southern League and gaining promotion to the 1st. Hardy missed only 1 league match during the campaign and scored his first senior goal for the club in a 1-1 draw with Pontypridd on the 24th of March 1913. The success was built around Hardy and Stewart's new signings, Patrick Cassidy and Kidder formed a partnership with Hardy that became known by fans as the Holy Three. The side conceded only 15 goals en route to the second division title and suffered a single defeat. The following year, Hardy recorded his first ever present season for the club, and he played in all 38 matches as Cardiff finished 10th in the First Division and helped the side to their second Welsh Cup title in the penultimate season before the outbreak of World War I. During the war, Hardy served on the front lines and was wounded in action. When competitive football resumed after the war, Hardy immediately returned to Cardiff and remained a prominent first-team player. He missed only one match during the 1919-20 season, featuring in 38 matches in all competitions. Cardiff joined the Football League in 1920 and were placed in the second division. Hardy featured in the club's first match in the new league against his former side, Stockport. In his 10th year since joining Cardiff, Hardy was awarded a benefit match for a league fixture on the 21st of April 1921 against Rotherham County, sharing the proceeds of the match with goalkeeper Herbert Neeshaw. Hardy was ever present for the second time in his career, having played in all 42 league matches as he helped the side finish as runners-up and win promotion to the First Division. He also scored his first ever goal in the Football League in a 1-0 victory over South Shields on the 16th of April 1921. Hardy featured in Cardiff's first 4 matches in the top tier, but his start to the campaign was disrupted by a bout of influenza that restricted him to only 2 appearances between mid-September and the end of November. He eventually returned to the first team on the 26th of November, defeating Everton 1-0. From then on, Hardy missed only one further league match during the campaign and was victorious in his 3rd Welsh Cup final as Cardiff defeated Wrexham 2-0. Up to his first season in the First Division, the Daily Herald wrote, "It is impossible to persuade any soccer follower in South Wales that there is a better left half in the country." 2 months into the following season, Hardy was approached to stand as a candidate for the Labour Party in an election for the Cardiff City Council. Former Cardiff player Charlie Britton, who had successfully ran in the previous years and was already serving on the council. He again made more than 35 appearances during the campaign, and in the 1923-24 season, he missed out only 2 matches as Cardiff finished 2nd in the First Division. The latter season was also his most prolific goal-scoring campaign for the club, netting 4 times over a year. Cardiff missed out on winning the league title after failing to beat Birmingham on the final day of the season. In the 1924-25 campaign, Hardy played in all 8 matches of the club's FA Cup run as they reached the final before losing 1-0 to Sheffield United. 2 years later, the club reached their second FA Cup final, this time emerging victorious after defeating Arsenal 1-0 to become the only team from outside of England to win the competition. In its match report of the final, the Westminster Gazette stated that Hardy's tactical knowledge of handling a wing was never seen to greater advantage. He made a career high of 52 appearances during the campaign, including all 7 matches of the club's successful FA Cup run. He also helped the club to victory in the Welsh Cup, defeating Rill in the final, and the 1927 FA Charity Shield early the following season. Shortly afterwards, Hardy was also selected in the Football League 11 for a match against their Irish counterparts. After one further season, Hardy's advancing years saw his first-team place come under threat. Cardiff were relegated from the First Division in the 1928-29 season, during which Hardy made 22 appearances in the league, his lowest tally in more than a decade. Upon the club's relegation, Hardy became mostly a reserve player, and in September 1930 was appointed as a player coach. Cardiff suffered a second relegation the following year to the 3rd Division South. Hardy played his final game for Cardiff on the 28th of March 1932 in a 1-0 win over Gillingham at the age of 41. Despite his achievements, Hardy was never selected to play for the England national team. This is commonly attributed to him playing for a Welsh team and selected from the Football Association, being reluctant to include any players from outside of England. In the latter years of his career, the Sheffield Daily Independent wrote, "Had Hardy been with an English club, dozens of international cups might have come his way. As a halfback, he had few equals." Hardy's long career with Cardiff established him as a reverend figure among the club's support. Ahead of Cardiff's 1927 FA Cup victory, the Daily Herald remarked, "There's no more popular player in South Wales than Billy Hardy." It was said that when he appeared on a newsreel show in Cardiff cinemas, the audience cheered for 10 minutes. Hardy remains Cardiff City's record appearance holder with 590 appearances over all competitions between 1911 and 1932. With the club suffering financially from a drop in divisions, Hardy was released by Cardiff in 1932. Shortly before the outbreak of World War II, Hardy was awarded a second benefit match by Cardiff, this time in a specially arranged match against Fulham in May 1939. For Coventry City, I've gone with Steve Ogrizovic. He was a player from 1984 to 2000. In 1984, he joined Coventry for £72,500. He was also selected to play for the Football League versus the rest of the world. That's a bit of a big game, isn't it? Football League versus the rest of the world at Wembley in 1987. He was still Coventry's first-choice goalkeeper in the 1997-98 season, when at the age of 40, he was the oldest player to play a Premier League game that season. In order to gain his final playing contract, Ogrizovic had to give up smoking as one of his conditions. He was the club's second-choice goalkeeper for the next 2 seasons following the arrival of Magnus Hedman, and finally retired at the end of the 1999-2000 season. In 16 seasons at Coventry, he collected an FA Cup winners' medal, but never played in European competition. This was due to Coventry being unable to qualify for the European Cup Winners' Cup due to the ban on English teams in European competition following the Hazel disaster of 1985. And the highest position Coventry attained in this period was 7th in the 1988-89 First Division. On no fewer than 7 occasions in Ogrizovic's time at the club, they came close to relegation from the top flight. They were finally relegated from the Premier League 1 season after his retirement. Ogrizovic is also one of the very few goalkeepers to have scored from open play. The goal came in a 2-2 draw at Sheffield Wednesday in the Football League First Division on the 12th of October 1986. It was the only goal he ever scored in a competitive game. He is also one of 4 players to have played top-flight football in 4 different decades, along with Peter Shilton, John Lukic and Sir Stanley Matthews, and holds the club record of 209 appearances, consecutive league appearances, for a Coventry City player. From August 1984 to September 1989. Overall, he made 604 professional league appearances in a playing career spanning 23 years, from 1977 to 2000. His final appearance for Coventry came on the 6th of May 2000 against Sheffield Wednesday. The keeper not being first choice for much of that season, alternating the number 1 position with Magnus Hedman, but was awarded the jersey for the club's final home game in recognition of his outstanding services to the club. For Derby County, I've gone with Kevin Hector. He was a player from 1966 to 1978 and from 1980 to 1982. Tim Ward signed him for Derby County in 1966, and he was a key player in their success under the management of Brian Clough and Dave Mackay over the next few seasons, forming a formidable partnership with John O'Hare. Hector played for the Rams for a total of 12 years, during which time they won the Football League First Division Championship twice, for the first time in 1972 under Clough, and the second time in 1975 under Mackay, if you know your Derby County history, which you'll be able to find out next week, by the way. It's coming up on Thursday. And the Football League Second Division Championship in 1969. And they reached the semi-finals of the European Cup and the FA Cup and the League Cup. After his time in North America, he rejoined Derby in the early 1980s. He made a record 589 appearances for Derby in his 2 spells, 486 of which came in league games. Hector played twice for England, and his debut coming as an 88-minute substitute in the fateful World Cup qualifier against Poland at Wembley in October 1973, when England, needing a victory to qualify, were held to a 1-1 draw. With his first touch of the ball, he nearly won the game for England, as his header from a corner was cleared off the line. For Huddersfield Town, I've gone with Billy Smith, who was a player from 1914 to 1934. For a Huddersfield legend, the story opened in an unlikely manner. It was September 1913, when at a board meeting, a letter of W.H. Smith of Tankerby in County Durham was discussed. The content of the note was short and to the point. The point the writer made it clear he was not prepared to accept terms of less than the equivalent of £2.50 a week, and for that reason he did not wish to present himself to further trials. During a Division 1 match against Stoke, he had a fight with a Stoke player. They were both sent off, and it meant that they would both miss a game. This caused Smith to miss the 1920 FA Cup final against Aston Villa. After Huddersfield went on to appeal, he would miss the next league game. Huddersfield lost the cup final 1-0 as Billy Curtin scored in extra time. In the second half of the 1922 FA Cup final, Smith was brought down on the edge of the area. The referee pointed to the spot. Smith, shaken, stepped up himself to take the penalty. Preston goalkeeper Mitchell jumped around on his line in an attempt to distract Smith, but Clem Stevenson said, "Never mind the dancing devil, just shove it in the net," which Smith did. Smith was a key member of Herbert Chapman's famous team, and in the final championship year in 1926 received his first England cap. He was one of 5 Huddersfield players who played in the Wembley Wizards' 5-1 defeat of England. He, Bob Kelly, Roy Goodall and Tom Wilson played for England, and Alex Jackson for Scotland. Jackson scored a hat-trick, while Kelly scored a consolation for England in the 89th minute. On the 11th of November 1933, he received his 4th benefit from the president of the Football League. Luton Town are gone with Bob Morton, who was a player from 1946 to 1964. Morton signed amateur forms with Luton Town as the war drew to an end. Luton signed him on a professional contract a year later in 1946. Morton made his debut on the 30th of October 1948, playing at centre forward as Luton beat West Ham United 1-0 at Upton Park. Morton was equally good as a forward or as a wing half. However, he was scoring goals or stopping them at the other end. He was ever present in the Luton team. Morton left Luton in 1964 at the age of 38. For Middlesbrough, I've gone with Tom Williamson, who was a player from 1902 to 1923. He kept goal for Middlesbrough in a friendly game versus Cliftonville as a 17-year-old. This was his debut, and Middlesbrough were very interested in signing him as a professional, but he only agreed under the condition that they allowed him to continue his interest in becoming a qualified draftsman. Williamson's first competitive appearance for the club was in a game versus Crook Town in the Northern Alliance on the Northern Football Alliance, on the 1st of January 1902, with his league debut coming in a home game against Bristol City on the 19th of April of the same year. Initially an understudy for Scottish international Rab McFarlane, he gained a regular pace in 1903-04 and never looked back. Williamson's Middlesbrough service saw him make 602 appearances in all competitions, of which 130 were consecutive. His appearance total is still a Middlesbrough record. He was nicknamed Tiny due to him being barely 5 foot 10 inches or 1.78 metres tall. He played in the last game at Linthorpe Road and the first league game at Ireson Park. He scored 2 goals, both from a penalty spot, though after he missed one against West Ham United, he never took another, after feeling the risk of racing back to his own goal was both too risky and tiring. He was Middlesbrough's first capped goalkeeper, gaining 7 full England caps. His first came against Ireland in February 1905, in the first national to be played at Ireson Park, in which he scored an own goal. His next appearance did not come for 6 more years, with the brilliance of Sam Hardy keeping him out of the team. Williamson's reserved occupation meant that he was exempt from a call-up for World War I. The Football League refused to sanction his benefit later on the grounds that those years during the war did not count towards his Middlesbrough service. He did eventually receive a game, however, versus Chelsea. His final game came on the 24th of March 1923, a 1-0 defeat to Cardiff City. At 38 years and 9 months old, he would be the oldest player to represent Borough until Brian Robson broke that record 74 years later. For Millwall, I've gone with Barry Kitchener, who was a player from 1966 to 1982. He was born in Dagenham, which was then in Essex. Kitchener signed for Millwall in August 1965 and made his Millwall debut in February 1967 at left-back against Birmingham City, replacing the injured Harry Cripps. In his next game, Kitchener scored against Sheffield United, hitting a 30-yard screamer past former England goalkeeper Alan Hodgkinson. On the return of Cripps to the side, he played in every game that season at centre-half, retaining the number 5 shirt until his retirement in 1982. His total of 602 appearances remains a club record. He released an autobiographical DVD titled 60 Minutes with Barry Kitchener, and in May 2007 was voted by the fans to represent Millwall in the PFA Centenary Hall of Fame. Kitchener died on the 30th of March 2012. He had recently been diagnosed with cancer before Millwall's home game on the 7th of April 2012 against Hull City. A minute's applause and a service were held. The home side wore a special white kit in memory of Kitchener, and the west stand of the Den is named after him. For Norwich City, I've gone with Kevin Keeler. Not Kevin Keegan, Kevin Keeler. He played for 1963 to 1980. He signed for Norwich City in the summer of 1963, and between then and 1980, he would make 673 first-team appearances for City, a club record. He was twice City Player of the Year and played for the City side, which lost the 1973 League Cup final to Tottenham Hotspur. For Nottingham Forest, I've gone with Bob Mckinlay. He was a player from 1951 to 1969. Bob Mckinlay was a Scottish professional footballer who played as a centre-half. He made 614 league appearances for Nottingham Forest before joining the club's coaching staff. He is the club's record appearance holder and won the 1959 FA Cup final with the club. For Preston North End, I've gone with Alan Kelly Sr., who played from 1958 to 1973. In 1960, he moved to Preston North End, and Kelly won the first of his 47 Republic of Ireland caps against West Germany in the 1956 friendly, and won his second cap the following year in a World Cup qualifier against England. He made his Preston debut on the 28th of January 1961 in an FA Cup tie against Swansea Town, and became first-choice goalkeeper the following season. In total, he made a club record of 513 appearances over a 14-year period, including the 1964 FA Cup final defeat by West Ham United. In the competition, he played 447 times for Preston, keeping 126 clean sheets, which is a club record. Kelly was named Preston's first player of the year in 1967-68 and won a third division championship medal in 1970-71. A shoulder injury ended his career in 1973, his final game being against Bristol City on the 15th of September 1973. He was given a testimonial match against Stoke City on the 19th of November 1974, which Stoke won 2-1. For QPR, I've gone with Tony Ingham, who was a player from 1950 to 1963. He joined Queen's Park Rangers in June 1950 for a fee of £5,000. He made his debut against Doncaster Rovers in November 1950 and retired 13 years later, having made a club record of 548 appearances in all senior competitions, 514 in the league. After retiring as a player in May 1963, he held various positions with QPR and went on to become a director of the club. A function room at Loftus Road is named in Ingham's honour. For Reading, I've gone with Martin Hicks, who was a player from 1978 to 1991. Hicks holds the record for the highest number of first-team appearances by a Reading player, making a total of 603 first-team appearances. In the 2005 fans' vote to compile Reading's best ever 11, Hicks was voted on the team as one of the centre-backs. Between March and August 1979, Hicks was one of the Reading back five that kept a clean sheet for 1,103 minutes, a record that stood until broken by Manchester United. I presume that was in the golden goal, or maybe it was just games. I think it was just games, sorry. Rotherham United is Danny Williams, who was a player from 1943 to 1965. He spent his entire professional playing career with Rotherham United as either a left half or an inside forward between 1943 and 1965. He made 461 league appearances, scoring 21 goals. Sheffield Wednesday, I've gone with Andrew Wilson, who was a player from 1900 to 1920. Wilson moved to the newly promoted Wednesday in 1900, where he spent the rest of his playing days. During his time in Sheffield, he won the Football League in 1902-03 and 1903-04, and the FA Cup in 1907. He became the club's all-time record top goal scorer with 216 goals, including 199 in the league, all in the top division. He was top goal scorer in 6 different seasons. He appeared for the team at 545 times, more than any other player. Both records stand to the present day. With his career seemingly having come to an enforced end as a result of the onset of World War I, he made one final league appearance before retiring on the 10th of March 1920, aged 39 years and 91 days, becoming the oldest player to play for the Owls. This record stood until it was beaten by player-manager Trevor Francis in 1993. For Stoke City, I've gone with Eric Skeels. He played from 1959 to 1976. Skeels was born in Eccles, which was then in Lancashire, and played in the youth side of the local club Stockport County, playing as an inside forward for County's Central League side. He attracted the attentions of Birmingham City, and he was offered a contract by Birmingham manager Arthur Turner. But Turner then left, and Skeels was unable to sign the contract. The scout who had recommended him to Turner, Reg Savage, prompted Skeels to attend trials at Stoke City. He did well enough and signed a professional contract in November 1958, when Tony Waddington took over in August 1960. He converted Skeels into a fine tackling halfback who thrived on the ugly side of the game. From September 1960, he missed just 11 matches in 7 seasons, establishing a reputation for his consistency and became known as Mr. Dependable. During his career at the Victoria Ground, he played in every outfield position, filling in as and when required. In his natural position, he was a defensive midfielder, although he made most of his appearances in the back four. Never a flashy player, he won a second division winners' medal in the 1962-63 season and a League Cup runners-up medal in 1964. Against Leicester City in August 1971, Skeels broke his leg in a tackle with Steve Whitworth. He battled his way back to fitness in time to replace the injured Dennis Smith for the League Cup semi-final against West Ham United, helping Stoke to reach the 1972 League Cup final, where they beat Chelsea 2-1. Skeels established a club record for league appearances towards the end of the 1974-1975 season, and with the wartime fixtures considered unofficial, he also lays claim to record appearance holder in all competitions with 597. He had already been awarded a joint testimonial match with Tony Allen against Derby County in February 1969, when he was given a free transfer by Stoke in June 1976. For Swansea City, I've gone for Wilfred Milner, who was a player from 1920 to 1937. After winning the Northumberland Senior Cup, Milner signed for Swansea Town in May 1920 from the local junior side Walker Celtic for the price of a fish tea and a cup of tea, which was 2/9 of a pence. Manchester United and West Ham United were also interested in the player at the time, but he did not play in the club's first game in the Football League at Portsmouth, but 6 games later replaced the injured William Ogley at left back. He became the club's first-choice left-back for the next 16 seasons, making at least 30 league appearances in 13 of those seasons, and was ever present in the 1930-31 season. Milner scored his first Swansea goal on his 501st appearance for the club, a penalty, and went on to score a further 6 goals. His final 2 appearances for Swansea came in the 1936-37 season as an emergency goalkeeper, replacing the injured Stan Moore for games against Leicester City and Nottingham Forest. At the age of 38, he was released at the end of that season and joined Milford United as player-manager, but only lasted half a season before returning to Swansea. He died in Swansea in November 1977. Milner played a total of 586 league games while at Swansea, which is a record to this day, while only 2 other players have managed to top 500. For Watford, I've gone with Luffa Blissett, who was the player at 3 different spells, from 1975 to 83, from 1984 to 88, and from 1991 to 93. He was born in Falmouth in Jamaica. Blissett began his career with Watford as an apprentice on leaving school in the summer of 1974. He turned professional for the 1975-76 season, making 3 appearances in the Football League 4th Division and scoring 1 goal. 4 goalless appearances came in the 1976-77 season before he broke into the first team under new manager Graham Taylor in 1977-78. When his 6 goals in 33 games helped Watford win promotion to the Football League 3rd Division. 21 goals the following campaign played a big part in a second successive promotion, which took them into the Football League 2nd Division. He remained among the club's top goal scorers over the next 3 seasons as Watford consolidated in the 2nd Division and finally reached the 1st Division for the first time in their history in 1982, at the end of a season in which Blissett scored 19 league goals. Blissett and his teammates made the headlines in the 1982-83 season as they surprised many by proving successful in the 1st Division. Watford briefly led the league in the autumn before finishing 2nd to Liverpool and qualified for the UEFA Cup. In Watford's first ever 1st Division season, Blissett was the division's top goal scorer that season with 27 goals. Blissett was sold back to Watford for £550,000 after 1 season with AC Milan. In his absence, Watford had reached their first FA Cup final, but lost to Everton, while new signing Mo Johnston was top goal scorer with 20 goals in the 1st Division. On Blissett's return, Watford failed to achieve their successes of the previous 2 seasons, but survived another 4 seasons in the 1st Division. Blissett scored 21 goals in his first season back in the 1st Division, though the Hornets could only manage a mid-table finish. He also helped them reach the FA Cup semi-finals in 1986-87, but a year later they were relegated, with Blissett scoring just 4 times in the league. He remained with the club until November 1988, when he signed for AFC Bournemouth. Blissett returned to Watford for a 3rd spell at the start of the 1991-92 season. They were still in the 2nd Division, and his 10 goals in the league that season were not enough for Watford to look like promotion contenders, meaning that they would be founding members of the rebranded Division 1, rather than the new FA Premier League. For the 1992-93 season, Blissett never played a first-team game for Watford again. His only action in the 1992-93 season came in the shape of a 3-match loan spell at West Bromwich Albion, which resulted in 1 Division 2 goal. Finally, for Wycombe Wanderers, I've gone with Tony Horseman, who was a player from 1961 to 1978. Horseman began his career with East End United and Wallaby Sports before joining Wycombe Wanderers as a 20-year-old in 1961. He made his debut as a left winger in a 3-2 defeat at Oxford City and soon became a regular first-team player at centre forward. He worked at the Healy WH Limited Furniture Factory at the time and was associated with the furniture trade throughout his career, earning the nickname Bodger after the local term for skilled wood turners. His notable achievements include scoring 60 goals in just 51 first-team appearances during the 1966-67 season. He played for Great Britain in November 1967 under Charles Hughes against West Germany in an Olympic Games qualifier. He was part of a Wycombe side that dominated the Isthmian League in the early 1970s, winning it in the 1970-71, 1971-72, 1973-74 and 1974-75 seasons. In the 1974-75 season, he was part of a Wycombe Wanderers team that reached the third round of the FA Cup for the first time, playing against First Division Middlesbrough, then top of the table, and managed by Jack Charlton. The game at Lokes Park was covered by London Weekend Television's big match cameras, and Borough scraped a 0-0 draw. The side travelled up to Ayresome Park for a replay, and a 30,128 crowd saw the semi-pros hold out until the last minute when David Armstrong slipped the ball past Wycombe goalkeeper John Maskell and into the bottom corner of the net. In 1975-76, he played in both legs of a two-legged final tie in the Anglo-Italian semi-professional trophy against AC Monza, which Wycombe won at 2-1 on aggregate. He had opportunity to turn professional, including the offer of a trial at Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest, but was never interested in the professional game. He was known throughout his career for a dislike of training and a fondness for Rothman cigarettes. His last game for Wycombe was against Sutton United in the 1977-78 season. I hope you all very much enjoyed that video, and please subscribe for a bit of regular footballing content. Do stuff like this all the time. Coming up, I've got things like the history of Derby County, which I'm really looking forward to do on Thursday, and then I've got the managers I think should have been sacked this campaign coming up on Sunday, although it'll probably be a recording, not live. So see you around.